Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are here with another guest. You can see his picture below me. I'm going to turn over to Dan in a second, and Dan can introduce Wynter and tell you what is happening today. But you guys can see in the caption that we are talking about another, another option for migrating from ClickFunnels Classic to 2.0, which has been a big thing that everyone's been asking for. And so we're going to talk about this one today. So I'm going to turn it over to Dan now to introduce our guest.
Can I I got to give a little bit there. I just have to add one little bit there because I got to ramp it up just a little bit. And because I got
Dan would do that.
I got super excited whenever you started to go live, Susan, and that with the last thing you said before we went live. And I was like, okay, for those who don't know the name that's on the screen, right? And I'm not going to give it away, Dan, don't worry. But I think it reminded me of there's so many things, and Dan, what you just said, actually, there's so many things that contribute into our current state of being. And I think there's so many factors. And a lot of times we usually only see like a few of them, right, when history is told. But we don't actually see all the contributing factors. And so what you just said, Dan, got me super excited about that. This is like, I don't know, just the whole who we have on the show today. And just the impact that he has had, but he's like an unsung hero. So anyway, just had to say that you sparked the interest, Dan, right before, or sparked the momentum right before we went live. I was like, what? That's amazing. Okay, I'll hand it over to you now, Dan, to introduce.
Okay, well, what prompted me reaching out to Wynter earlier this week was Russell was on his Monday Pulse, and he said that he was talking about the history of ClickFunnels a little bit, and he was talking about Wynter Jones, and he mentioned, I do believe by name, I could be wrong, his brother Wynter Jones, and how Dylan certainly was involved in having created the original editor for ClickFunnels way back in the day, and I knew that Wynter was also involved at that point, having to, in the development of the editor way back then. And as we started to segue into the call here, what Andrea was so excited about is, like I just said, Wynter, you were there at the beginning, and you have no idea how many people's lives you have changed because of what you guys did 10 years ago to create this tool, which then eventually became ClickFunnels and has made a lot of people very, very wealthy. Not just Russell, but thousands and thousands of other people. And so it's incredibly great. But so on the call on Monday, Russell started talking about the ability to migrate from ClickFunnels 1.0 to 1.2 or 2.0, I should 1.2, 2.0. And that there was somebody in the community who was now in some way or another helping out ClickFunnels. I'll let Wynter talk about that himself. And that this person has solved the problem, has come up with a tool that very, very soon, as Russell said, will become available to the public. And so we're gonna bring on here right now the man, Wynter Jones, who created this tool, and let him tell us not only about himself, but what he's got for us today.
Hi there. I know I've been silent during this little bit, but thank you, Andrea and Susan and Dan. That was a great introduction. So yeah, my name is Wynter Jones, and I've been working with ClickFunnels I've worked with Russell for quite a while before ClickFunnels with a variety of things that I can maybe show you here in a minute. And then my brother started working on the ClickFunnels editor, and then Russell bought him and they became partners. And then the entire time I've been working with Dylan and Russell and Todd and everyone there on the ClickFunnels. And so I did the editor, the large portion of it, like Dylan would start it and I would continue it on. And then I did the first UI of ClickFunnels and the WordPress plugin, the blog, like all kinds of little things that we were doing. Like since we were a small team when we started, everybody kind of did everything. And then they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then here we are today with an entirely new version, which is super exciting. And I probably, like when I first learned about it, I was extremely excited and I was wondering where I could find more information. And that's how I found you guys, because me and my brother have been watching you guys like working on a separate app and then talking about what you guys have been talking about, being like, oh, did you hear they said this? Oh, they're doing that. Oh, like, and we learned it all from you guys, which is kind of awesome.
That is awesome.
It's like I love it. It's like it comes full circle. I love it so much.
Yeah, that's what I would joke about. Like, I wonder if they know that like one of the original co-founders is watching them and learning from them about what's happening next.
It's amazing.
Makes it all worth it right there.
Yeah,
It does. It really does.
Awesome.
So,
Okay.
I'll just intro what I'm going to do today is give you a brief history of myself. I found a Wayback Machine website that I had that has a lot of old work on it, and I'll do that real quick, and then I'll show you the extension, Chrome extension, which is about moving from version 1 to version 2, since that's a common problem. Everyone wants to solve that, and I think I have a start to a solution, and over the next month or two, we should have it to the point where anyone can use it.
Which I love your open source approach, Wynter. I really do. Like, I think, I think it just comes from a place of abundance and not of scarcity. And I think it's a beautiful gift into the world. And so it's amazing. Thank you for,
you're welcome. I love when we solve a problem together. That's when it's like an enjoyable process, because we can all solve these in different silos and different, by ourselves. But if we solve major problems, we move forward together as a community, and then we're all better. That's why I'm doing this, so that everyone's faster and everyone's better, and then we don't have to think about these kinds of problems.
Amazing. Well, and how I really became aware that Wynter was working on this is he has been for probably at least 30 plus days, maybe 60 days, been posting on Facebook his daily activity and what he's been doing and his progress as he's been coming along. And it's just phenomenal for me to have watched how this man's mind works, even though it's just little snippets of words on a Facebook post. But I was just like, wow, this guy's a lot smarter than I am. And so I'm glad to have you on here today.
I appreciate that. Like, in fact, I've never really been open about the work I've done. And I've, saw a Facebook post from Russell, was like, document your journey. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll just post little bits of here and there. And the more I did, the more I was actually getting support, which is what kept me going, because oh, you guys actually this is a real thing. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's keep going. And then every day I just keep going.
Well, Wynter, I will say to you, because you took Russell's advice, look at how your life has changed over the last 60 days.
Yeah, I'm now a live podcaster. This is my debut.
Amazing.
You're on with Andrea. There you go.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Join effort.
Okay, just let us know, Wynter, when you're ready for us to add your screen. All right.
Okay.
There we go.
So hopefully you guys see this.
Yes, it's my ClickFunnels story. Yep.
Yeah, so this is just an old website, but if I can, it reminded me of some things. Let's go back to here. So I met Russell 5 years before ClickFunnels, and we worked on one of the first projects that me and Russell worked on was called WP Undies, which is an amazing name. So it's WordPress Undies, which was almost like a funnel builder. It was a page builder that had a whole bunch of different sections. Anyways, that was probably the first one. And we've worked on multiple before ClickFunnels. They were all basically 1% of what ClickFunnels done, and then another 1%. This is a photo of me at one of the ClickFunnels things. This is a photo of me in Russell's Ferrari in his garage. So yeah, and then working on ClickFunnels. So yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for listening, guys, and I will keep going here. So what I've done before that was called monetize design, and every product that I created had private label rights. So I would sell it to you, and you would sell it to your customers, and I would move on. And I did that far too many times, as you can see here. So that's so it's just a whole bunch of tiny little apps that eventually equate to what ClickFunnels is. So hopefully that's kind of interesting. And
those were all apps you built or plugins you built for WordPress that then you took that same idea and you built ClickFunnels from it.
Yes, because at the time, software as a service wasn't that popular. In fact, I don't think too many. Well, there was, but we didn't think about it. So WordPress was the best way for us to deliver a product and have them use it without us having to support it or run a server all the time, which we never really thought about. So that was the craziest thing for us, was to be like, wait a minute, with ClickFunnels, we push an update and everybody gets the update. That's incredible. So that was like a curse and a blessing, right? So sometimes I would push an update and people's websites would go down, and then we would have to fix that very, very quickly and, very stressfully. But and then a whole bunch of other things. We did a whole bunch of these things back in the day, which were Flash.
Oh my gosh, Flash just brings me back.
I know, right? That was our first product when we were 18. We had a grant that was for a Flash video player, and the whole idea was that you would share the video player and it would have your affiliate link in there. So that was a fun idea, but we had no idea how expensive that really was. So with these little buttons, our goal was to like get our graphics onto every sales page we could. So we would always build these little tools so that someone would launch a product in the internet marketing space, and we would go to the website and be like, okay, 9 out of 10 times, some of our graphics are on there. So that was kind of like our conquer that industry. And then with ClickFunnels, it's like, you want to conquer this industry? Perfect. Like we had the exact same goal with that. And it worked out, and everything's groovy. So that's that. So I will just get out of that. Thank you for listening about that boring stuff. Okay.
Thanks for sharing it.
Well, I think it wasn't boring, actually. You said something really interesting that I have to circle back on that maybe somebody didn't hear. So you said that back in the day when ClickFunnels was first coming on, the whole system would crash and you'd have to quickly fix it, if I heard you right. Okay, so I want to just fast forward to 2.0, right?
Okay.
I don't think we've been in like significant crash state, right? We're in like your typical SaaS bug state, right?
100%, yeah.
I just want to I think that is a testament to just the growth of the development process. You know what I mean? Or just like how ClickFunnels has grown as a company. Like, I think that's pretty substantial in my mind from a development standpoint and just a DevOps standpoint.
I think like the people who've been at ClickFunnels the longest, like Todd probably has like PTSD from those days. So he's probably like, make sure that this doesn't crash under any circumstances. Bugs we can deal with, but as long as the website's in front of you, then we're okay.
Right, yeah.
So
Ross tells the story about getting on the plane and his phone is blowing up, and that wasn't good. And I don't think they want to repeat it that day.
Oh yeah, there was. Most of the times it would just happen and we would have to fix it really quickly. But I definitely caused quite a number of problems because my thing was the editor, right? So I kind of had direct control for good or bad. I know this is a little bit of segue, but I just wanted to show you guys this. The editor apps, it says beta. It has said beta for like the entire time.
Like 8 years.
Yeah, exactly. So this software I'm going to show you is in beta, but hey, it might be in beta for 8 years. You never know. This is my track record. I just wanted to show you that because I wonder how many people click that button and wonder what it is and then just never click it again.
Oh, I stopped clicking on that probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say though is what you're going to show us right here is I've looked at other similar tools, and although yours is still in beta and others are selling theirs for thousands of dollars, yours works better than theirs does.
Awesome. I appreciate that. I would show you the code. Well, I could look. Oh, wait. So what I have here.
Yeah, show everybody the code real quick here because the people.
Real quick. This is what I have to take all of the HTML from version 1 and convert it into what is essentially this. So each attribute, essentially, padding, all that stuff needs to be converted. So, and this is just, the headline element is actually impressive because every single span bold and underline requires basically this. So there's a lot of going through everything and making sure all of the attributes are there and all this stuff. So it's basically going through with everything through with fine. Oh my God.
Fine tooth comb,
point, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So what he's really saying here is for every single one of the elements on the page, let's say there's 25 elements in a CF 1.0, he had to write the code, have the ability to be able to go in there and look at it and say, okay, well, this is an HTML element and it has these attributes on it. It has this CSS on it. It has these classes on it. And those classes would then, of course, be associated with additional CSS. And all of that has to be then basically grabbed, put into a database, and then sent into 2.0. And then you got to do the reverse of that and put it into 2.0. So this was quite the undertaking.
Well,
Yeah.
and as a translation, right? Just for those who, because our audience is pretty broad, right? We have pretty tech savvy and we have pretty, just learning and just beginning. So I want to just do a translation. So on the show, we have covered I forget the exact name, but the conversion tool that we reviewed, right? That they are selling at a price point. And what we found when we did that experiment and we showed you guys how to use that, not only is it the price point, but what we also saw is that they did not take the time to do exactly what you just said, Dan, right? They scraped the elements that were, this is a horrible word because it no way gives credit to where credit's due, but the simple and easy to grab things, right? Scraped it and put it in, but they didn't go to that extra mile, which is where a lot of the page life comes from, right? They didn't go that extra mile to go that like one level deeper into looking and translating. So that was quite a significant effort, I think, on Wynter's part, but also it makes for a much better possibility in the conversion. So just to kind of from where we've talked about scrapers versus what Dan just said.
Well, and the other thing I will add that Wynter, I'm sure, probably won't, is that he also put in the ability here so that if there's any custom CSS on the page, it takes the custom CSS, pulls it into 2.0. And although when I tested it the other day, it wasn't still working properly, I have no doubt that Wynter's going to get that up and running where any custom CSS you have will be pulled right along with it. Were you able to get that working yet, Wynter?
Yeah. So I do have a page that has like that arrow where it was pushed off to the left with CSS. The only thing is that when I go to the actual page, it doesn't show up. So there's little errors like that where it seems to work in the editor and then I go to the page and then it's not there. So, but
yeah,
that's
exactly what I was experiencing. I think that's what I was experiencing too.
Yeah. So like, I don't really know exactly why that is right now, but I am looking into it and I do have access to the ClickFunnels team. So I can bug them a little bit and be like, hey guys, do you know what's going on here? But I'm going to use that opportunity like once or twice, make sure it counts. Just real quick. So I'm going to show you how this works. So I am a designer. So one thing that's very important to me is like these icons and the thickness of the border, the button. Like for me as a designer, I don't want to do this again. Like I don't want to have to think about this twice. So I initially had it copy everything as exact as I could, and I could still get it better. But we don't want to cause ClickFunnels 2.0 to get into a state where it's uneditable, which is very easy to do, where I give you an element that looks a certain way, but then you can't change anything about it. And then that becomes not fun for anybody. So if you go to the Chrome store, and this is one way to get to it. There is a link, but you search for ClickFunnels Beta, and then if you add this, then you can pin this little extension to your bar here. And one thing, so I'll start the demo here. The page will, sorry about that. So whatever page you are on and you click this, it will either give you one action or no action. So for instance, if I go here and click it, it will give me the action to copy the funnel. But if I go to say here, it will not know what to do. So here's the instructions. You'll probably have to do this more than you want to do it, is just constantly reload the page. Not constantly, but every time you go to do this, if you reload the page first, then at least have a connection between this pop-up and the website. So let's just see how this goes live. Let's hope for confetti. Everybody cross your fingers. Confetti.
Yay!
Yay!
So that's half the process. So now what it did is it took this ClickFunnels page and did some magic onto it and then sent it to a server, to a database that's super cheap. And then one thing that I think is awesome is the recommendations. So there are, I think, 50 or so elements inside of ClickFunnels 1.0. And the majority of them will not transfer over. So I have like around 25 that will work, but not 100%, but they will get the content over. For instance, for what it's telling me here is that this video is using this iframe, which at this point I haven't been able to transfer. So it's just going to tell you, hey, that's going to be put to a YouTube video. And if there's other things on the page, it will tell you, just so that at that point you know what to expect, so that when you go over to here and you open up a page, this also works inside of the funnel steps as well. And then we click here, and then we also hope and cross our fingers for confetti. Here we go. So confetti, yay! And then the page is
oh
over
my gosh,
here.
and look at all of that. Like the CS, it looks so good.
Well, it's almost good. For me personally, and it bothers me so much, but I'm going to fix it, is that there's no border on the bottom. There's
I love that you care about that. Can I like, that is such a weird blend of like you can code and you care about design. That is a unicorn skill set right there.
That's awesome. I had I don't have it right now, but it was an extension that allowed me to like measure the distance between everything. So I was doing that to make sure, like, is this exactly 5 pixels apart? One thing to note that I wasn't able to do that now that I've kind of deduced things. So as you know, that there's no icon here. I did have that so that it goes over, but that's not beneficial to anybody. Long term, that is. One thing to note is that all the width for every section is different. So when I go from here to here, sometimes the text placement will shift, and there's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. Just so that if there's any other designers who are super OCD like me, just be aware of that.
Well, but here's the real thing:
awesome.
is you got 90% of it there.
Yes, exactly.
And if I got to adjust the width of a column or a row or something, a better way to put it is if somebody's complaining about it, then boo-hoo. Don't use the tool; just migrate it yourself.
Yeah, and if they are OCD like me, they know exactly what to do. Like, just do that or something, and then boom, you're back to where you were.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so that's it will copy the page. I can show you, this is just real quick, and is entirely beta. So by the way, this is Greg's account. So just a real segue here is that when we started with ClickFunnels, we started telling all of our friends, like every single high school friend that we had ever, it's like, hey, you guys should get involved with ClickFunnels. And around 7 of them did, and they've all been with the company ever since the day they started, for like 5-6 years. So for me, that's the biggest, like, oh my God, that's amazing that I've helped my friends in real life maintain awesome jobs in a great community. That's huge to me.
That's amazing.
Greg being one of those friends.
Oh, yeah,
assuming is why you brought that up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's an old.
What a small world. This is exactly what I mean, though. Like, you hear that, like the people that you don't hear about very often. You know what I mean? Who were fundamental in the formation. It's awesome.
Yeah, and Greg went to school to become a cop, I'm pretty sure. So that he went from that to ClickFunnels. I was like, what a turn, man! That's amazing. And he's been so good at it. Like, I love
that.
Greg.
Makes so much sense. Like how he carries himself I could totally see that cop
background.
Yeah.
That's awesome. and so you've known Greg since you guys were kids, and did you guys used to ride skateboards and stuff together?
100%, yes. Yeah, we were all skateboarders. We all wanted to be pro. We'd print T-shirts and everything. Our skateboard name was Crazy Skate, so we used to have T-shirts and everything.
Well, yeah, I think that's what Greg said. The first thing he was selling was T-shirts or skateboards or something like that.
Yeah, actually, good point. Greg was the entrepreneur of the group. We would just do click flips and whatever, but yeah, he was the one printing the shirts and getting people to know about it. That's
amazing.
So I'm just this doesn't work, but I'll just show you what it's going to do. When you copy a funnel, it has to like load up a lot of different, or each step, right? So this won't fully work. It's going to do its thing, but it's not going to complete. But I can hopefully then show you roughly what it will do on the other side. So as you can see, hopefully it's loading stuff up here and grabbing it. Eventually it errors out, but we'll just move on. And this should be working by Monday, hopefully. Let's go here. think this one. And when I first seen the other extensions do this, I literally thought it was magic. I was like, how are they doing this? But so it's going to build out the funnel bottom up, and then.
Well, I'm not seeing another tool of any sort that builds an entire funnel. It was always just an individual page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. This is well. I've only seen ever one other tool that is actually out there available, and it only does singular pages.
Yeah, that's right now, like for people using it. That's why like this one's coming out like soon, but it's not going to be the way I would recommend doing it right now. Like if this was your funnel that you were actually cloning over for real world uses, I would do it individual. So that way I can guarantee that this page works and then the next page works and test everything. Just because since we are moving everything over, there are chances that certain things might not work. And so this is 100% beta. It's mostly just a party trick at this point. And then we are going to get to the serious stuff. Once I can get a full stamp of approval that like, hey, this works 100%, use it. But I don't want anybody to be frustrated. That's mostly key.
Well, yeah, I really think that even if you were to stop at this point here and just do one funnel page at a time, I mean, this is still huge for virtually everybody in the ClickFunnels community.
Yes.
I have not heard anybody saying, oh my God, I will only take it if it does a complete funnel. So,
that's true.
I mean, if it takes one page at a time, okay, it'll take you an extra 10 minutes. Okay, fine.
So this one I could show you some of the weird behavior that I'm dealing with. Since this is all beta, like we're all cool with it, so nobody's expecting the moon here. So this one has the arrow here. So this one's an interesting.
Is this the same page I showed you the other day? I think.
Yeah, I couldn't find the one so I just recreated it. I don't know if it was a template that you did or what, but.
Yeah, I had actually pulled it up here if we want to just show that one real quick when you're done with this.
Cool. What was I doing here? Okay, I'm just trying. So I copied that one. I got to open this and then paste it in.
So now this case here, there was already something on the screen. So it goes in and it deletes out everything if there had been something there.
I'm not sure.
You just opened up a page that had already existed.
Oh yeah, that was the one I just transferred over a minute ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I got confused. So this one it did transfer over, but you'll also notice that it's in a slightly different spot, and the icons are still work in progress. But then, and here's like the kicker, for me at least, it's like, oh my God, what is that? Okay, let's go back.
Oh, I fixed that.
Oh.
Yeah. So on that.
So if I change something,
go back to the page. Yeah, you have to save it first.
Yeah, and this is the only example where I've seen that happen, where I was like, oh, that's weird. And then the second problem is that this button, the arrow is not off to the side.
Okay.
So it's stuff like that where I'm like, okay, if it's going to do that to anybody, I can't say that this is ready. So because you want to be able to. If it looks good here, you should trust that it works.
Okay, so I think you understand what I said the other day, Wynter, and I think you just did it, but you went so fast I didn't see it. So he loaded in the page, and it looks just fine here. But at that point, once the page loads in, it won't save. So what you have to do is you have to do some sort of editing on the page, even just put a space on there somewhere, just something that will force the save button to activate. Then you can save it. Then it will look right when you go to the live page.
Let's actually test that real quick if we can. Just because I'm curious myself. I thought it was maybe just that specific page, but maybe you're saying it's all pages?
Yeah, it was all pages. I tested it on several, and
okay.
You have to do an act of editing in order to get the save button to activate. So if you just
this one we just copied over and I didn't save and it is showing. So what I think there's it's either one of the elements or it's something that's causing it to do that. I'm not like this is the best part of what I do is that I gotta just look at it, go slow, think about it, go through each element,
Well,
and then
one is
eventually I find it.
the second page had custom CSS on it, and this one probably does not.
No, it does not. So I think that might be a problem. Oh, it switches your video to this video, which is not the greatest.
It's pretty funny though.
So yeah, this is free to anybody, and it will remain free, and we'll just keep on hustling so that way we can get this to the point where it's fully usable.
Amazing. I'm just going to say a great big thank you on behalf of everyone that will use the tool that finds it through this video.
Right on. I appreciate you guys having me on and to show it.
I think what we'll do is, like, as you keep developing it and it gets better and better, we'll keep talking about it, of course, but we'll also start using it and showing us using it as well. And so that'll be another way people can find out about how to use it. And so if you guys are watching and you're like, okay, this is really cool, but like I need to be walked through step by step. Like, how do I use this? What did Wynter just do when he was clicking all the buttons? Don't worry, we got you guys covered. We'll help you figure out how to use it.
Yeah, so hopefully that was understandable. That'd be great if you guys can show people, because I don't. This is my documentation, a very small list. If you can still see my screen, but it's a very small list of things. So.
But you've made it so easy to use, Wynter. I mean, you've definitely put some emphasis in making it as easy to use as possible, which is just so amazing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I also have to say, I feel like this is a like, subscribe moment. So I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, right, I think it's very hard sometimes to speak into the void, and it's even harder to share our journey because we're like, hey, I just got to get it done. And, it's like a never ending thing, but it's like at the same time, you're you coming up and sharing the journey, like how you started today, right? And starting to document more, like, the Russell advice. To me, it's like anybody who's watching and anybody who's interested in this journey or just knowing a little bit more about what Wynter has going on, collaborating with him, I'm like, hey, go like and subscribe on Wynter. Like, check out the documentation, give him some hearts, give him some likes. Just because, again, I think that that just that community feedback and engaging with what you're doing, I think is really important. Just if nothing else, to say thank you.
Absolutely. That's what motivates me, is to see that real people are using this, because I could work on this, and if no one uses it, then it doesn't feel the greatest. But if people are using it and they're happy, then I've done exactly what I wanted to do.
That's amazing. Amazing.
That's a good point too. If you guys are going to go use this tool, come back to whatever group you're watching this from. Come back and share about it. Share that you used it, share the experience, share feedback. If you don't reach out directly to Wynter, at least share it here. Wynter's in, I think, all the groups that are receiving the stream right now. So he'll see it. So that's probably a good way to pass feedback back to Wynter.
And shout out Ivy. Thanks for joining. Yeah. And maybe even give Wynter a little @Winner on that one. But, and also Wynter, I mean, this platform, hopefully I'm not being too bold, Susan and Dan, for saying this, but to me, I'm like, this platform is always available to you. So if you do need any additional help from the community, again, we're rooting for you. This is amazing.
That's awesome. Can I show you guys one last thing before
please.
So
Absolutely.
when I worked on this, I was actually working off the 2-week trial. And then when the 2-week trial ended, I was like, oh, what do I do? And then other people were selling similar ideas. So I was like, what can I do to add on to this value? So I made a separate one that was just entirely for fun. So it's called CF Classic Redesign. I call it ClickFunnels 1.5. So with this UI, I did most of it. Except for as time went on, it started changing in different ways. So I was like, what if I just redesigned it myself? So it's an extension and you turn it on, and then you get an entirely redesigned ClickFunnels 1.0 experience.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so much more modern. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it does cool things that I like. So if I wanted to change this and all these things really quickly.
Oh my gosh, inline edits. That's amazing.
Yeah. Hey there. I'm spelling terribly, but yeah, something's not happening. It's going wrong.
Saving.
No, it is not saving. That saved.
The rule of
yeah.
That's awesome.
Wynter, so you're not used to going like live on a lot of this stuff. So there is a rule here that no matter what, when you go live, it won't work.
Oh
Yeah.
no, 100%. Yeah, like the software, you record a video, like check this out, and everything breaks, and it's like, okay,
It's not working.
yeah. Also, and last thing is, if you do use this and you don't like the white, you can change it to the dark mode.
Dark mode.
That's so cool.
I would show you more of it, but this is Greg's account, so I can't really show you. But I tried to touch every page so that at the very least, ClickFunnels 1.0 looks like it's one app, not three put together.
You know what this feels like? Did anybody watch into the Spider-Man multiverse?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this feels like. I feel like we just went into the multiverse and like this is ClickFunnels in another universe.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The film noir version of ClickFunnels, or like the white ones.
That's awesome. So yeah, so hopefully this is at least entertaining for people to use. Like that's the other thing is just at the very least it's just something that hopefully puts a smile on your face, because there's no value in changing the UI other than to be like cool. And then this one is just to be like cool, and hopefully you guys can use it for your clients. That's really what I want. The last thing I'll say is that I'm doing it so that you guys can get over to 2.0 fast, but I see a lot of people who want to do it for other people. So if they were able to just get it over like 80% and then that last 20%, then they're better off and we're better off, because right? Cool.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Love that.
So cool.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on here, Wynter. Any other last thoughts before we end? Dan, Andrea?
No,
Wynter?
other than like, so if we wanted to start playing with it now, Wynter, is it available? Is it not available? Let everybody know. Is it something that we can
link
start?
in there, Susan? You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is 100% available to anybody on the Chrome store, and it will remain there. And then for the future, hopefully we get it to the point where it's more accessible and more of a support team behind it. That's the goal.
And just in case you guys didn't hear it, it is 100% free. It's available to you for free, and it's better than anything we've seen so far in terms of conversion. So amazing.
Well, if you guys want me to show the one I had pulled up here real quick, just to prove to you that it is free to play, I can do that.
Sure, Dan, show us.
Okay. Not that I'm forcing you to, but I just think it's cool. So let me see here. Share the screen. Now I got to figure out how to share the screen. And there we go. The entire screen. Come on. There we go. Okay, you see it? Screen? Yep, you should. Okay, so here's the one here, and as you can see, we can go in here and we can see there's a little bit of custom CSS in here. This is the part here that moves the image over to the left over here, because where it lives natively is actually as an element underneath this text element. It's just an image element itself, and it lives right underneath here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this, and hopefully it'll work. So we got copy, boom. And yeah, this process has improved immensely since the first time I saw this a few weeks ago. And now we're going to go into a new page right here. Click on edit.
I feel a little bit like Pavlov right now. I'm really like more than normal excited about confetti at this point. Well done, Wynter.
I spent hours trying to make it to the emojis, but it didn't work.
Emojis.
One thing Wynter built in here is a lot of times you'll create a new page inside of ClickFunnels and it just doesn't load right the first time you come in here. So it'll actually tell you if you're connected to an actual or ClickFunnels page or not. In this case here, you can see that I am. Wait, actually it says I'm not. So let's reload the page.
That's interesting.
So it detects it right away. So now hopefully there we go.
So that process is because the website needs to communicate with that pop-up window, and sometimes it just doesn't. So that's why I'm like, get ready to reload often.
Okay, so now we're pasting in the page. And so here we have it. And again, it's off a little bit right there. We click anywhere in here, we can make this go away. But now this is what I was saying before. So if we just preview this page, it's going to be all jacked up and weird. The arrow's way over here, and it doesn't look right. You can see here the logo across the top is huge. But if you come back in here, and let's just say we just put a space in there so that we can then click on the save button. And now when we go and look at the live page itself, now we got everything right. Now, again, here, the CSS did not pull through properly, but I can show you in the code that the CSS is actually right down here. So the CSS did get pulled in. There were IDs applied to it. Oops, it keeps going away. There were IDs applied to it, but as of right now, obviously there's still a little bit of a glitch in there as far as getting the CSS to actually activate.
Yeah, which is a fun project for this weekend.
Well, let's take a look at this here, because here is the element. Let's look at the code. Yeah, see here you have. Did you generate this this ID on your own, or did you?
I generated it. So since I'm doing the conversion process, I give it everything a new ID in their format. So it's like this weird number format. I don't know if it's required to be that way, but I copy their format, and then so that way I know exactly what ID is the new ID for everything. So
so you're putting in a new class, actually, is what you're putting in here.
That's how the new version is. So there is no IDs in ClickFunnels 2.0, but it's classes, but it's still an ID.
You may not have watched that video I sent you the other day. This is how you create an ID in an element.
Right. Okay.
So you can actually do that. And so then I just changed the period to a hash over here. So let's just see now.
Yeah, interesting.
If it picks that up. Yeah, if not, go back and watch that video I sent you. Maybe it didn't. See, it's still
yeah, I think it's just not loading entirely. Live debugging. This is amazing.
That's what we do here.
Yeah, so we got the class, we got the ID here. I wonder if we need to put the image tag in here along with it. We shouldn't have to. It should move the entire element, you would think, shouldn't it?
I think there's something with the way I'm constructing the page that's saying to it on the live one that it's not good, or that it's just not loading something. One thing that will be great in the future is that potentially there'll be like a validator, so that it would be impossible to put in a bad page. So if you copied over a page that was broken, it will break this page. So there is that risk, but you can just delete the page or try again to copy something else over. But in the future, we want to get it so that won't happen, so that it would be like, hey, there's something wrong before you even get to that stage,
Yeah.
That'd be good.
But that's the nitty gritty, the boring stuff.
All right. Well,
all right.
I'll quit playing around with this, so I'll stop. But it does work for everybody. So
I'm sure it'll get worked out.
One little minor thing, but again, the other stuff that I've seen, including probably most people who are paying or who are being paid to transfer over stuff, may not even get the CSS added in right if there was custom CSS.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that it works for the JavaScript as well. Since I'm switching the IDs, if you have custom JavaScript, it'll switch the IDs. But that's, let's just assume that's going to work like 5% of the time, because who knows?
Well, I was going to ask you about JavaScript, but I was just like, I figured, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah, like it will switch the IDs, but then if you're looking for anything that's custom around here, like that's, there's so many problems, but at least it will get you somewhere.
Well, which really brings up the next question then, because a lot of times in 1.0, we also use custom attributes or custom data titles. So
it sounds like me and you need to get together and just hammer this stuff out, because I didn't even think about that. And it's like, it's true. Yeah. So that's just one of the many details, but that'd be great to be able to knock out and go into the nitty gritty. I helped build ClickFunnels to a certain percent. And then when I was watching Russell's live, he said in ClickFunnels 1.0, you can't add a product to one funnel and then you have to make a new product for another funnel. I was like, I didn't even know that. That's crazy. I've never added a product to ClickFunnels.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you I was thinking of this earlier. There were like 3 major things that they did in 2.0 that were just huge. One is universal products. The other one is universal pages. So you could use the same page across multiple funnels. And then now what's universal blocks. So you can create a block, whether it's a section or a row or even a single element now, and use that across every single funnel page you have. Yeah. I think those were the 3 biggest improvements they made to 2.0.
Yes.
Yeah, it's coded a lot more efficiently this time. Like we were building on top of what we were building. Like we'd build something, build on top, and build on top, and now everything's like I knew this when I was hacking it and going, wait a minute, they're doing it this way. Oh, that's so much better. Like everything is so much better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think about I'm glad you went through the evolution of how you guys got to 1.0 in the first place, because you were building plugins for WordPress.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
basically put those all together into what we've eventually had as the original editor. So, and then the second editor was nothing more than a rewrite of the first one. So from our standpoint, I mean, the editor looked a little bit different. The interface looked a little bit different, but it didn't function any differently. So what was going on behind the scenes didn't change.
Is you talking about for version 2 or for version 1?
Well, I'm talking for version 2 of ClickFunnels 1.0.
Oh yeah, you mean when it redesigned?
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was like we spent so much time on that to like change the look and everything. And then as soon as we did it, a lot of people weren't happy. And that was like, oh, so don't change it that drastically, But eventually we got comfortable with it. But yeah, like one thing that I did is I also did how there's CF Pro Tools, so I have funnel plugins, and then I closed that down and then merged all of those extensions into the editor. So that's where we got the little floating video, which I love. So like I'm gonna take credit for that right now, because I think I was the first person to do that, and then I added it to ClickFunnels. It was like, oh, now it's popular. I wonder why.
Awesome. Okay, we have a lot more people that have joined in watching this more towards the end, so you guys are going to want to watch this from the beginning.
Definitely.
This is Wynter has created a free migration tool to move your ClickFunnels 1.0 pages to your 2.0 account, and there's links in the comments. You can access it. It is, did you say that one, that's still considered beta? Like you're going to maybe run into some things that don't quite work the way that you want it to, but it is, from what we are seeing, the best one that we have seen. So go use it.
Awesome.
And then bring your feedback.
And again, I think it's like not only the best in terms of result, but I love, similar to why we go with ClickFunnels, the founder, like from where it comes from is like amazing, and I just can't speak high enough. So again, just appreciate, Wynter's input and the product that you've done are both like win-win. So
that's awesome.
yes,
I appreciate that
in terms of
there's so much more I want to show you, but like I guess it's been 40 minutes, so I'll just wait till
we'll bring you back.
Well, yes, that's exactly what that is. I think we're gonna need to do an encore.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you got to look at the team you guys really were 10 years ago. It was you, your brother, Todd, Russell, who knows who else, and essentially it's the same team together 10 years after the fact.
Bring back the band.
Yeah, it's Blues Brothers.
I love it.
Put the band back together.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I got involved with ClickFunnels again, and then like the live started happening again. I'm like, okay, it's back. Everyone's going, we're all moving, we're all excited. That's what I like to see.
I love it.
I just don't want to see the long chase scene at the end of the movie. Don't do that again. Okay.
Cool.
You three probably never even saw the Blues Brothers.
I certainly did, sir.
I'm young, but I'm not that young. Okay, we got to wrap this up, though. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Watch it back from the beginning, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Wynter. Thank you, guys.
Bye.